Hello, everyone. Welcome to Free Write Friday. My name is Jessica Lynn Johnson, for those of you who don't know me, and I'm the founder of Soaring Solo Studios, which is a company that's dedicated to developing, producing, directing, coaching solo theater all over the world. And I am a solo artist myself. I toured for over 13 years with my two one-woman shows. And I'm also with the LA Women's Theater Festival. I direct and do different teaching engagements with them. I'm also a blogger for NoHo Arts. So if you go to the NoHo Arts website and look up Soaring Solo, you'll find a bunch of free content there with my blogs all about solo theater. And I've directed and developed over 200 solo shows at this point and produced hundreds. So it's definitely my passion, and I work alongside Heather Dowling, who is also an award-winning solo theater director and performer herself, and she's the other half of Soaring Solo. So definitely be looking out for events with Heather as well as they become available. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'd love to hear from you, so please feel free to say hi in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from, either geographically or also what you're up to creatively. Just feel free to say hello, and if you watch this back on YouTube later, you can put it in the comments. Um, and the mission of Free Write Friday, a little bit different than my free Saturday classes, which are 90 minutes. My Free Write Friday is quicker. It's like 15 to 20 minutes. I just guide you through a writing exercise and hopefully get your creative brains moving in the direction of completing a solo show and just helping you be accountable for making progress on your solo show. And then I usually finish things up with with announcements about what's going on in the solo theater world. So hang on for that as well. Okay, so today's talking point, we're going to focus on a specific time period or time span that your solo show will center around. So, and I'm going to give you some examples from the Soaring Solo community to help you think that through for yourself. So, you if you have seen solo theater, which hopefully you have, or you're starting to watch a lot of it, that's the best homework you can do for yourself is go see a bunch of solo theater. Sometimes you'll see that people kind of talk about their whole life journey, their coming of age, from earliest childhood memory to being, an adult in present day, or sometimes people will it'll be a day in their life, or it'll focus on a week or a year or a decade or whatever. So um, it's helpful to start to think about, okay, what is the container of time that your solo show focuses on? That can be helpful to start to guide your writing. So, for example, my client McKinnon Powell in his show 6 out of 10, which is playing in the Hollywood Fringe for one last time this weekend. I think it's tomorrow. It's either tomorrow or Sunday. I forget. You'll have to check my website. But his show is called 6 out of 10, and it takes place in 2016. And it's really about his journey with learning that he's enough and discovering where his true worth lies. But for the majority of the show, he's trying to be a perfect 10 in his acting career, in his romantic life, in his family life. He comes from the South and has got a lot of conservative mindsets around him, and he's a gay man, so coming to terms with that. But the whole thing really centers around 2016 and all the destructive dating and relationships he was in, and the auditions he was going on, and what was happening politically at that time, and all of that. Now, that doesn't mean he doesn't do any flashbacks. There's multiple flashbacks throughout the show of earlier moments in his life, but the bulk of the material takes place in 2016. And then toward the end of the show, I won't spoil the end, but toward the end of the show, we see him in present day in a new circumstance. And so we get a little bit of outside of 2016, but predominantly it takes place then. And then my other client, David Paveo, his show is called Poster Child: How Charlie's Angels Kicked My Ass Out of the Closet. And that's also this weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, in the Hollywood Fringe Festival. And his show is set, as you might guess, in the 70s. Because it does center around him being a closeted gay man, and how Charlie's Angels literally helped him come out of the closet as a gay man with all of their boldness and their beauty and the posters on his wall, coming to life and speaking to him throughout the show and encouraging him to be his authentic self. So I would say it's kind of a dramedy or a serio comedy, and it really focuses on this retro vibe of the 70s. So we go back in time, there's lots of references to TV shows and other iconic things from the 70s. The music is very tailored to that. And there are some, again, flash forwards in time or flashbacks in time, but predominantly we're going to be in that time period. And it spans pretty much a decade, I would say, versus McKinnon's show, which was like 1 year. So I just want you to bear that in mind when you're thinking about your show. Is there a particular day that just blew your mind in your life? You had one crazy day, and that's what the show is about, and that's the container. Or you want to tell your whole life story and try to truncate that into an hour. Or again, it might be a particular decade or a week or whatever, but start to think about it in terms of time and see what that brings up for you. So I'm going to set the timer for 8 minutes. And I would love for you to just write about whatever's coming up for you. And you don't have to be married to anything right now. This is just for um, you to experiment and see what you discover. So let me see if I can figure out the timer on this thing. I just did this the other day, but give me a moment. Don't know where it went. Okay. Well, I will just set my phone for now because I don't want to waste time messing with that. Um, but I will let you know when your 8 minutes are up. If you do have any questions, just pop me a question in the chat. Otherwise, let yourself just free write about whatever comes up for you and meet you on the other side of 8 minutes. I have about 4 minutes left. 4 minutes. About 1 minute left. Okay, so go ahead and wrap up your writing, please. And yeah, hopefully that got you thinking about the container of time that your solo show could take place. Hopefully brought up some memories or additional stories for you to consider, and just a new way to consider the story altogether. Okay, so I'm going to jump into announcements. I also put these in the chat for you, but I'll talk through them with you. So, my next 90-minute free class, The Art of Creating the One-Person Show, is happening on Saturday, July 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific, noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Totally free. Just sign up the same way that you did today under free stuff. and you can get the Zoom link for that class. And then if you're ever wanting to work with Heather or myself in a more professional capacity, the best place to start would be an initial consultation. Those are discounted at $69 for an hour on Zoom. And I can go over any questions you might have, any written excerpts you might have. If you don't have written excerpts, that's totally fine. We can brainstorm to come up with some writing prompts and give you some powerful next steps. But yeah, that would be the place to start. But we definitely have all kinds of special events and small group coaching, one-on-one power pairs, all sorts of different ways to work with us. But that is the best place to start. And then Revealed is a virtual reading series that Heather and I produce where you would be given the opportunity to read your script to a virtual audience. And then we do a talk back with you and the audience afterward and get feedback on what is or isn't working with your solo show before you commit to putting it on stage, paying to produce it, or whatever avenue you're taking. You want to know that you've got the best script possible before making any sort of investment. So if you're interested in Revealed, just pop me a message and we can talk about that. But the basic idea is we look for a time on our calendar and you look for one on yours that works, and we schedule it and get it going. So pretty simple as far as that's concerned. And then if you like today and you want to come back, the next Free Write Friday is the 17th of July, and that's at 12:30 Pacific, 2:30 Central, 3:30 Eastern. So again, just sign up as you did today and get the Zoom link. And then be sure to visit the YouTube channel for Soaring Solo Studios. I got hundreds of videos on that channel, free content, free writing prompts. And it's not just me and Heather who speak in the videos. There's also, members of this Soaring Solo community giving their tips and what they've learned along the way as solo artists. So definitely check those videos out. And I'm also just a huge fan of the festival circuit. I think it's a really smart way to build your accolades, get reviews, nominations, awards, meet other people in the creative community to champion your work and whose work you can champion. And so a few that I would keep your eye out for. There's the 30 minutes or less festival, which they're also doing a 30 or 60 minutes or less festival iteration of it, I think in July. My client, Mary Gillerman, is going to be a part of that. There's also the Binge Fringe Festival over at the Santa Monica Playhouse, which takes place in the fall. The New York City Fringe Festival, also known as the Frigid Festival, is really wonderful. The Orlando Fringe, United Solo in New York City on 42nd Street, largest solo theater festival in the world. Had several clients do that. Then the mothership of all the fringes, the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, which is happening in August. The Philly Fringe Festival, the Hollywood Fringe Festival, which again is wrapping up this weekend. So definitely check out the Soaring Solo shows that are hitting the stage this weekend and support if you can. And then the LA Women's Theater Festival that I mentioned earlier. And then I'll conclude with the Stars series. We do that annually. Heather and I co-produce that. So that's going to be happening in December this year. And I'm going to be sending out a call for submissions starting this weekend, probably on Saturday or Sunday. I'll send out that email, but definitely feel free to email me privately if you're interested in learning the particulars of being a part of the Star series. To me, this is the perfect container of time because we're sitting in June, and December gives us, a little over 5 months to prepare your show for stage for a little preview performance, which is oftentimes what people will use Stars for. They'll do a preview performance of their show, get feedback from the audience, work out some things in the aftermath of that, and then pursue things like the Hollywood Fringe or United Solo or things like that. So it's a really great supportive container to do a show in its infancy stages. Or if you've already been touring your show for a while, we have lots of people who come back and bring their shows to Stars every year. And it's going to be at the Theater 68 in North Hollywood in the NoHo Arts District. Which is a beautiful, beautiful theater right there in the heart of the whole art scene in North Hollywood. So yeah, if you're interested in learning more, just let me know. And we will only probably take about 12 to 15 shows And so again, this is for people who are already touring. It's also for people who just, if you have a seed of an idea right now and you're ready to work hard and prioritize it and put a stake in the ground, we can get you there by December, and we'd love to do that. So reach out if you're interested, and I think I'll leave it there for today. So thank you so much. I'm going to hop off, but I will leave the chat up for a few moments as you might be jotting down the announcements and things. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.